Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And you are all very welcome to M2's first podcast called M Tuned. So, a big thank you to everybody for dialing in, for watching. You're all very, very welcome. My name is Laurie Keogh. I am M2's Chief Commercial Officer and Head of International. And really, the purpose of this podcast and M2's podcast is all about meeting people who are helping to build, shape, and grow the blockchain and crypto and Web3 ecosystem here in the UAE. And in today's episode, we are starting strong. Let me make that really clear. So, we're really lucky and fortunate to have Abdulla Al Dhaheri, who is the founder and CEO of the Abu Dhabi Blockchain Center. Abdullah, you are very welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Appreciate it, Laurie. Yeah, like you said, I'm glad to be on the show and discuss about the blockchain ecosystem in Abu Dhabi and what we are going to do within the center, within the ecosystem, in the UAE itself, and how I always say that the UAE is becoming right now the next tech hub for everyone around the world.
Fantastic. So look, let's jump straight in, right? People don't want to hear from me; they want to hear from you. So I think Abdullah, what would be fantastic would be to learn a little bit more about you. So your background, your career journey to date, and then how you got involved in blockchain.
Definitely. So I come from a cybersecurity background, and early on, back in the days around 2011, and so I used to always learn about Bitcoin. And how I got into the space when I learned about Bitcoin itself was, okay, how was Bitcoin built? What's the foundational layer of this technology? Peer-to-peer transactions and all of that. So when I learned about this and I started understanding how it becomes, I saw the way of, okay, what can I do with this right now after learning it? So 2 years in time, 13 came, and I built my first concept and got it patented, which is the digital identity aspect of having birth certificates and identity cards, all of that stored on chain. Back in the days, we used to use like Hyperledger Fabric, private chain. That's what was available. The ethos of Ethereum and all that came after wasn't there. So that's how I got into the space itself. And that's where my journey started.
Fantastic. And as you kind of moved along, and I guess you found crypto and blockchain, were there any specific moments that were particularly, enlightening, or there was a big light bulb moment went off?
Like for me, the spec of the space itself of how decentralization works, and what happened to me personally, in blockchain and Web3 space, as we say, it made me work around the world with people that you never could understand or say like, oh, I'm going to meet this person in the US or this person in Latin America or in Europe or in Africa itself or in Asia. So you get to meet the tech builders in the space closer. And that's what I saw the beauty of decentralization itself.
Got it. Okay, yeah. The power of networks, absolutely. Let's talk about the UAE, right? I think there's a lot of people who are watching who really want to dig into that and learn more about what's happening in the UAE. How have you seen it? I guess from small beginnings, as it's grown up over the years to where it is today. So I'd love to get your take on, I guess, the UAE as a whole, and then more specifically in relation to Abu Dhabi.
The blockchain ecosystem in UAE, we've been there since the early days, from many aspects. The UAE is a country that's 52 years old. This year we're going to be 53 years old. And we started, as we say, from a desert to where we became today. we've been always developing. We've been always with the vision of our leadership. Sheikh Zayed, Sheikh Khalifa, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, the vision of what they created and what we want to do today is what made us here. Um, the evolution of the ecosystem, as people see, like from the regulatory perspectives, how fast we became adopting. Back in the days, everybody saw how the regulatory environments were creating these sandboxes of innovation. Reg Lab, as we see in ADGM, nobody stopped innovation here. And that's what made us unique, different from everywhere else. In Abu Dhabi itself, also, Phoenix was one of the biggest crypto companies that went public here, and what they were doing, mining facilities that were open and people started working on it. The ease of the peer-to-peer transactions between holders here. As you guys saw, exchanges founders started coming into these into the region itself. Foundations from around the world that starting set up here. We've been always the hub of this centric focused technology itself, and we will be continue developing this hub into a wider perspective, into a bigger range of what we want to do. Yesterday, as you guys saw, there was the Dubai Web3 AI Festival that this perspective was pushed, so we are always going to continue develop. We are always going to continue to shift the narrative of this space and create innovation.
Okay, in your DNA, no doubt about it. In terms of, okay, and we look at, I guess, the UAE there. I know people, familiar with Dubai for all sorts of reasons, but your experience obviously is Abu Dhabi and the Abu Dhabi Blockchain Center. How is Abu Dhabi different to other parts of the UAE, and especially when it comes to blockchain and crypto?
Um, I don't see a difference between Abu Dhabi and Dubai or any other Emirates. In the end, whatever we do all comes back to the UAE itself and what we create. Supporting environments. In Abu Dhabi, we do have the regulators, ADGM, and we do have the central bank, ESCA here. And Dubai, as you saw, they have VARA, the regulators there. What set us apart actually from other countries, I would say, is that the ease of opening a business, the ease of setting up a company here. Nobody is gonna come and do, and let's be transparent, like how we see how the SEC is consolidating the companies in the US, while in the UAE they're widely open and actually talking to these companies, listening together. Many exchanges and many Web3 companies that came here and sat down with the regulators and talked with the regulators of how we can do these things, how we can shift the regulations together. I never saw a country that have done that before, where the companies and the regulators work together and putting a big and creative regulatory environment for them to start building on. And that's what sets us apart from anybody else.
Yeah, look, I know we were at an event last night in Abu Dhabi, and still I'm learning about the ecosystem, and still a newbie, but it is definitely powerful to see the close networks that exist there. That was something that it's kind of struck me over the last year and the last few months. Really has been that it is the quality and caliber of the institutions and the different parts of the ecosystem, but also just how close the community is, how close the ecosystem is. So I think the access you can get to asset managers, hedge funds, family offices, academia is pretty unique in Abu Dhabi. That's been my experience so far.
Definitely, I agree with you.
In terms of where do you see the ecosystem today? So I think we've spoken about, I guess the birth of the ecosystem, your experience, Um, Tell us a little bit of your thoughts and insights as to where you see things are at in the blockchain and crypto ecosystem today.
I see us 10 steps ahead of in terms of the ecosystem developments in this region. Like we are here now, the blockchain center has set up in Abu Dhabi. We announced a couple of months ago, and what we are developing. Whether it's from our consultancy arm, we help the institutions come into this region. But not only that, a lot of people think that we are shifting the people here into this region and that's it, and helping them within locally here. But we actually want to scale that and have companies expand globally from this region itself. We announced our fund, $100 million fund with the Gate Ventures there, and this shows the commitment that we have. We are looking into this space, and the first time our mandate was that we are going to invest locally into startups, globally into other startups, and how we want to see. And a couple of months later, we are going to also set apart our incubator accelerator hub that we are going to create. And when we announce that, people will realize it's going to be one of the most unique aspects and the beauty of this new incubator accelerator program that we are going to create there. On the events perspectives, as you guys see, the Bitcoin MENA event is happening in December in Abu Dhabi. So this shows the commitments and this shows the developments that is going on in this region, how we are focusing apart in this region. The central bank issues, the regulatory aspects on the stable coins. ESCA announced with VARA a couple of days ago, like if people realize there are announcements coming out uh, on the week, within many aspects, whether this company is getting licensed here, whether the regulators are announcing a new shift in the regulatory environment for the better, whether the central bank is announcing from the financial side and the payment services or stable coins issuance and all of that. We tend to see major hubs setting up here in this region. So I do believe within the next 5 years, we are going to become one of the biggest, actually, the number one biggest tech hub in this region and to the world itself. We are going to become the financial hub for institutions and how we want to develop from here. And I would say people can come and ask me 5 years later, is did we achieve that or not? Like Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed always say, and Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, is that in this region, we don't accept becoming number two. We always want to be number one. And one way or another, we will achieve that.
Yeah, look, I think certainly people who are in the UAE, familiar with the region, I think the ambition and what's being achieved, is very well known. Somebody who is, relatively new, I think it's just phenomenal to see that ambition, but also actually see all this come to life. The incredible progress in the UAE on so many fronts. So I would certainly say there is no lack of ambition here. But what makes it different is that there's execution behind it, and there's delivery that goes with it. So yeah, points well made. And I think anybody who bets against the UAE, I don't know if I take that bet. So Abdullah, I guess looking ahead, right? We kind of touched on a little bit, how things started, where things are now. We touched a little bit about the Abu Dhabi Blockchain Center there, and congratulations on the fund. I think that's fantastic. So yeah, where do you see, okay, in the next, I think looking ahead in crypto and blockchain is challenging. We don't know what's going to happen. And when you get too far out, but yeah, over the next kind of 12, 24 months, what are you excited about? What are you looking forward to see?
Many aspects from this front that I would like to say here. I am excited about how the RWA ecosystem is going to work and what are we going to do here. I do see the shift developing more than what we see right now and all of that. I do see the real world assets aspect actually coming to life in the next 12 to 24 months in this region and globally. We're going to see a big shift in that aspect. I do see like most of the services that we are using right now transforming into that big shift of digital transformation. And what do I mean here? Like people are going to start using the blockchain ecosystem and people are going to start using crypto more concretely than how we see it before, because whether it's the ease of use, whether it's the fast transactions, whether it's um, the aspect of RWAs as we see and the benefits that comes around that, there is going to be a big shift in this. And I do see, like I said, big financial institutions are coming into this region and doing things. Big major players from around the world are going to start doing it. They are doing it right now. We see Standard Chartered, we see you guys with what you guys are doing and working on. We see other big players announcing major things that they are going to develop in the next 12 to 24 months. So there is going to be a big boom in the industry and it's going to start taking over from there.
Got it. And in terms of, life is, never linear, and there's always kind of, I guess, challenges that come up. I guess on the flip side of that, what do you see as potential, I guess, maybe bumps in the road that we need to work together to address?
One of the biggest challenges I see is having the talent. Looking at the talent that we need in this region. That's something, to be honest, I would love, and for anyone who's listening here, is that we need a, a pool of talent here in the region, whether it's locally or globally, people coming in this here. And for anyone who knows this, and I think Lori knows this, we are always here to support the people. We are always here to listen to them, as we said. It's not like we're just going to say it here on the show and forget about it. No, we actually want the talent to be here, the developers to be here. There are many incentives, not only offered by us, but by many other government departments or the private sector or the public sector from many aspects. So that I think what we face right now is having talent come into this region and working on many perspectives. And that's something that we are working on in the center right now, and like attracting the talent into this region more and more.
Got it. Okay. And I guess the UAE is not immune there, but yeah, definitely something to work together towards. A question that's come in, Abdullah, which I'd like to go through is, I know we've discussed in the past, I think there are 5 key things that the Abu Dhabi Blockchain Center does and is going to be working on. Would you mind just walking us through those 5 things?
So the 5 pillars that we have comes from multiple aspects. We have our venture capital arm, as we said, that we did with Gate.io, and people will understand more. We're going to start deploying by next quarter. We have our own consultancy arm, and that varies from a wide perspective, whether we help institutions or companies set up here in this region, go-to-market strategy for smaller projects, whether people need our help from many aspects there. So we have a broad things, and we have a concrete team working on that aspect. A research and development arm for us, and to me, and like I told you before, Lori, when we first met, that's my baby vertical, and how we want to work, because that's what I see coming out from what we want to create. Moreover, we have our events vertical that we are working on there, like the Bitcoin Mean event, or what we wanted to do next year, our flagship event, like the Abu Dhabi Blockchain Week, or smaller events here and there that we host with many major institutions in this region or globally. and the incubator accelerator program, which is going to be one of the most exciting things that we are going to announce for the next quarter, and it's going to shift the incubator accelerator programs all around the world. And that's the 5 verticals we are working on currently.
Fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, look, I think there's a lot of interest, obviously, in this podcast down to you and the work that you're doing in the ecosystem in Abu Dhabi and across the UAE. So just really, I think there's folks who are just looking for a little bit more detail on that. In terms, Abdullah, switching gears for a moment, if I may, just to get to know you a little bit more. Favorite movie, favorite book, favorite podcast? What are you into at the moment?
Actually, my favorite book is called Sheikh Zayed, The Eternal Legacy. And the reason for that is Sheikh Zayed, Allah yarhamah, as we say, and is to me one of the most inspiring individuals that I always looked up to, and I think everyone looks up to. And we are called the children of Zayed in UAE, and everybody is the children of Zayed here. The vision he had and how the UAE became to what it is today is what inspires everyone, and what's actually motivating everyone to push further and develop whatever they work on. Like I told you, 52 years ago, we were sticks and sands, as we say, but today we are in the top, developing with the top countries right now. So in terms of the book, that's to me one of my favorite. When it comes to podcasts, I do watch the Lex Friedman show. Joe Rogan is one of the funny comedy shows that I like to watch, and his host that he brings there. Tucker Carlson is something that you would like to do. For me personally, I like to tap into many industries and listen. Like people always have to learn, people always have to gain knowledge of what's going around there. And when it comes to movies, I think, guys, I was asking Lori before the show, like I don't actually have a favorite movie right now, but it's a wide range of things that I love to watch here and there. I'm a big fan of sports, and that's what I mostly like to watch in my free time.
Fantastic, fantastic. Yeah, favorite movie, favorite food, favorite song. These are all extremely difficult questions. We're going to move to a bit of Q&A, Abdullah, if that's okay. So generally establishing business is easy in UAE. So regarding blockchain ecosystem, what opportunities are there for project owners and startups? What are your thoughts?
Look, what blockchain ecosystem and opportunities they get depends on their own project. Like people can come and contact us, and that's some things we can discuss with them. Are there incentives programs? Yes, they are, but it varies and differentiates from what they are building and these things. So if a foundation wants to set up here, how we can help them and what incentives are there. If layer one wants to build something from an infrastructure level, there are some things and that aspect. So there is nothing to the point of what they get, but we would like for blockchain ecosystems, infrastructure players, startups to come into this region, start integrating into the ecosystem, use the actual use of products, that and I'm going to say it here, a lot of startups and things that come here will say, okay, we want to raise, we need capital and all of that aspect. I do agree, every startup needs the capital, every startup need to raise to start building this, but there are startups who already raise and they are looking to raise again and again. But what I always tell them is, no, like, guys, integrate your product into this ecosystem, create the next unicorn of what you guys are building. Like developing a product is one of the most beautiful aspects in those things. Let me know what your product is doing, and we can help you integrate locally and globally into what you guys want to build. That's how I look at many projects itself, and that's how they can establish and develop bigger and bigger there.
Fantastic. Tolga, thank you very much for the great question. Another question coming in. As we discuss the future, what sectors or areas within blockchain and crypto do you think offer the greatest potential for innovation here in the UAE? So thanks, Pao.
Uh, this question is a very good question. What sectors and areas? Everything. We are not going to consolidate to one thing, and I think that's the same with them too. That's the same with us. That's the same with the regulatory environment. Whether it's from stable coins, whether it's from payments, whether it's from the financial sectors, whether it's even from gaming. We do support gaming projects. You know, we never said no to that. We will never say no to that. Um, what we are going to build and how I'm going to answer this question is what sectors we are going to focus is the whole ecosystem and that narrative and pushing the whole ecosystem from that perspective. So we are open and we welcome everybody to come into this region and discuss what we can do together with them.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you for the question. Sophia, thanks for the question. How are the laws about crypto in the UAE? Is crypto a taxable asset?
We do not have taxes in this region except for the value added tax, which is on mainland. But most companies that set up in the free zones, they have a very good zero tax policies and regulations there that actually helps them in what they want to do.
Got it. Okay. Talga, thanks again. So what products will M2 test out in the UAE where crypto is regulated and then go globally? Maybe this is one for me, if I may. Look, I guess we're launching a series of products. What we always try and do is we work with our local regulator in Abu Dhabi, the FSRA. So the kind of key products that we have in the UAE at present is a AED on-ramp, off-ramp, so you're able to deposit and withdraw. So that's in partnership with the leading bank in the UAE. So we're really excited about that product. So it just becomes a seamless place where you can deposit your dirhams and then purchase, I think, up to 60 assets on our platform. I think in terms of other products in our roadmap coming out of the UAE, we're going to be making a series of announcements in relation to those. So best thing to do is A, check out our website, and then B, stay tuned to MTune as we start to release these over the coming weeks and months. So sorry for the shameless sales pitch there, but I was asked the question. So I think we can move on. Okay, Adil, thank you for the question. As part of this industry, I'm so positive for a very bright future and opportunity UAE. Okay, fantastic. Not a question, but those comments are always welcome. So I think we've covered a lot of ground today, Abdullah. Thank you very much for your time. A couple of things just to close out on. Abdullah, if people want to learn more about the Abu Dhabi Blockchain Center, where's the best place to go?
People can contact us on our website, theblockchaincenter.ae, which is THE blockchaincenter.ae, or they can personally connect with me on my following socials, as you guys can see here on the bottom, or AD contact at blockchaincenter.ae is the best place, and they're more than welcome even to follow our socials on Twitter or Instagram and reach out whenever they want.
Fantastic. Exactly, Abdullah. All the info is there. So on behalf of M2 and our first podcast, M-Tuned, thank you for being our very special first guest. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
So everybody, thank you very much for joining us today and dialing in. We will be hosting these consistently over the coming weeks and months, meeting with people right across the UAE who are helping to shape, build, and grow the ecosystem here. If you'd like to learn more about the Abu Dhabi Blockchain Center, the information is going along the bottom. Also, we'll put links beneath the comment section on LinkedIn and our other socials. And of course, if you'd like to learn more about M2, we will also add links in there. And feel free to get in touch directly. I'm more than happy to discuss what we're doing, where we're going, and really thank you again for everybody for dialing in. Have a fantastic weekend and see you all again soon. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.